So if you're building a Zenith Cruzer or a Stoll version, who here enjoyed working on this part of the wing? I know I didn't. And the reason why is you're trying to bend aluminum in directions that it will not go. So my thought was I would make a new piece of aluminum that would fit perfectly. And I could do that by making a paper template first. So I bought this poster board and inserted it into the bottom of the wing. And then I wrapped it around and trimmed it until I got a perfect fit of the paper. Now the paper fit perfectly, but what I didn't realize is the paper is actually bending in a couple different directions, which makes it seem like it will fit perfectly. But obviously the aluminum won't bend the same way the paper does. So it wound up not really working that well. But what I did here was I made this paper template, I got it shaped perfectly, I laid it out on a piece of aluminum, traced it, and then cut it out of the aluminum. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I finished installing this corner piece of aluminum into the wings. Oh, and before I get started, I just wanted to mention this picture that I showed you at the beginning. In this picture, this skin looks like it fits perfectly around the leading edge, and it doesn't. If I would have taken this picture from the other side, like from the wingtip looking into the root towards the fuselage side, you'd see that this skin, where there's no clecos, is actually sticking up about 1/8 of an inch or 3/16 of an inch or so above the wing. So it's actually, from this angle, it looks like a perfect fit, but it's actually a very bad fit as it sits right now. Okay, here's my skin on the wing. It's done, it's finished, it's riveted on. It does not look great, and I'll tell you why in just a minute, but I did not care at all how this actually looked. The only thing I was concerned with is that this skin did not stick up higher than the wing skin. And mine fits perfectly. Nowhere along the whole edge here does this skin stick up higher than this. Now I've seen some other cruisers where they didn't cut these slots in here or do anything. They just wrapped it around and riveted it, and it actually looks fairly good. But on all of them, they still have a gap around here, and there are still spots where this skin will stick up higher than this. And like I said, my primary concern was not how it looked, but just that this skin was even with the wing. The reason I didn't care how it looked is because, boom, check this out. This is my custom fiberglass fairing that I made for this area of the wing. So here's what the fairing looks like on the wing. I think it looks pretty cool. I just have to secure it on there with a couple of flush mounted screws, just like I did with the fairing I made for the front of the windshield. I think it looks pretty awesome, and obviously I will get about 30 or 40 more miles an hour in my cruise speed with this fairing on here. Now here's the right wing. This skin is formed on here. It looks exactly the same as the other wing. I've put down duct tape because the resin will not stick to the duct tape. I've got 4 layers of 8-ounce cloth. And you can see I've started to scuff it up and sand it already. You can see where the high spots are and the low spots. And basically the high spots are everywhere there's a rivet. And this all gets leveled out with resin and micro balloons, which I'm going to apply next. So this is the thickened up resin with micro balloons in it. And I'm just gonna spread some on here like this. And you have to work really fast because this stuff sets up incredibly fast. It's got a different hardener in it. And the reason it has a different hardener than a normal fiberglass is this hardener is much easier to sand. Doesn't have to go on too thick. I'm just going from edge to edge to kind of level everything out. One of the nice things about being a pilot is I spend half my life in a hotel room, and I always save my hotel keys just for this purpose. All right, it's done. Now this only takes about 30 minutes before it starts hardening up, but I always wait. I won't sand this off until tomorrow. So guys, I had an issue with my memory card on the camera. It was full. It would not let me film, and I deleted all the files on it, but the camera still recognized the card as being full. So I actually had to reformat the card, but I couldn't film the work I did prior to this. I came out this morning and sanded off all that filler and microballoons that was on here. And as you can see, I've drawn the lines on here of where I want to cut it to match the other one. Now the only issue with this fairing I have is that it might be too thick. And the reason why is when I originally made it, I had 2 layers of cloth and then a third skinnier layer in the middle, and it wasn't thick enough. So after that cured, I added 2 more layers to it, and now the whole thing, it might just be a little bit too thick. I won't know until I cut it out along the lines and kind of see how thick the edges are here. But on the other fairing, I built it up thicker in the middle and thinned it out as it went towards the edge, and it makes for a nicer looking fairing. I'm not sure if this one will end up like that or not, so I'm going to cut it out and see if it works. If it doesn't, then I will tape off this wing again with more duct tape, and I'll make a new fairing. Well, here's a rough cut. I'll finish it up with a Dremel and a sanding block. All right, I've sanded this to shape. Actually, I'm not 100% done sanding it, but it's close enough to get an idea of what it looks like. And the verdict is that it really is too thick. It's certainly usable. It doesn't matter if it's too thick. But I think in the long run, I'd be happier if the edges were a little bit thinner and the whole fairing was a little bit thinner. I can tell that it's a lot thicker and heavier than the other wings fairing. That one actually just turned out perfect. The problem with this one was making it too thin the first time and then having to add layers of glass. Those extra layers just made it too thick. So this fiberglass work is a new skill that I've been learning, and I think I'm getting pretty good at it, but I'm not perfect yet. So I guess I can't get too mad for ruining a fairing and having to redo it. But anyway, I think I'm going to finish up the video here because I'm not sure exactly when I will make a new fairing for this side, but it's not a whole lot of work. I just need to put some more duct tape down, cut some strips of fiberglass and mix up some resin and lay up a new layer. So anyway, that's how I did my corner skins. Thanks for watching.